What is up, guys? Rickackis here, and the last exotic weapons and armor for the Taken King have been revealed. With the introduction of patch 2.0 for Destiny, a lot of the Taken King content has been added into the game files. So through data mining, we are able to find information on the last batch of exotic gear that's going to be available in the Taken King. So this will be the complete list with one small exception. Bungie has admitted that some exotics, probably just the raid exotic and maybe one or two more, are not available for data mining. So aside from that small subset of exotics, this is the last big reveal completing the list of exotics in the Taken King. Now, the database I'm using for this information is the Planet Destiny database, and I'll link that in the description down below. Now, the 6 exotic weapons and armor pieces from the last Bungie reveal on their Instagram account are included in this data mining. I'm going to skip over them for the people who have already seen that video. So there's going to be an annotation on screen right now. If you haven't seen that first video, I would definitely recommend watching that video first, because again, we're skipping over those 6 exotics in this particular video. Now, we have a lot of exotics to go through, so let's start off with exotic weapons, and let's start off with the auto rifles. First on our list, we have the Zhalo Supercell. This weapon's exotic perk is also called the Zhalo Supercell. And what it does is that arc projectiles have a chance to chain lightning when enemies are close together. So shooting an enemy and dealing damage with this gun has a chance to radiate lightning bolts onto nearby enemies and damage them as well. Now, the second unique perk for this weapon is called Bolts from the Blue, and what this does is that double kills with this weapon charge a small amount of super energy and return ammo to the magazine. So right off the bat, I'm thinking of this as being an amazing crowd control weapon for PvE. Dealing damage to a bunch of thralls or just like several dregs, several low level enemies together is going to be able to kill them firstly very fast because of the Zhalo Supercell, lightning bolting everyone nearby. You're able to deal damage to multiple enemies at the same time. But in addition, that's already a good combination. I'm already happy about that. But in addition, when it's actually working, when you're actually getting double kills with this weapon, and by the way, double kills doesn't necessarily mean you kill 2 enemies at the exact same time. You can just shoot one enemy and then shoot another one right away, and that is going to recharge your super energy and return ammo to the magazine. That is insane. I can see this being a very good weapon in PvE, especially with the 30% auto rifle buff against PvE enemies. Watch out for the Zhalo Supercell, guys. Now, the next exotic auto rifle we have is the Fabian Strategy. Now, the exotic perk for the Fabian Strategy is called Front Lines. Now, what this does is that this weapon has increased handling, stability, and rate of fire when enemies are close. The Fabian Strategy also automatically spawns with the crowd control perk unlocked, which is that kills with the weapon grant a damage bonus for a short time after. Guys, this weapon seems like a beast because of that Front Lines perk. When an enemy is nearby, increasing rate of fire and stability, that is huge because this weapon's stats aren't, lower than usual. It actually does the same rate of fire and impact as the Abyss Defiant Crota's End auto rifle. So basically, it's kind of like a usual auto rifle. Oh, but if an enemy is close by, it has higher rate of fire and stability, therefore increasing its time to kill. We don't know exactly how much the rate of fire is increased, and we don't know how close the enemy needs to be, but all I know is that anything that's going to increase the actual time to kill of this auto rifle past auto rifles that have the same stats, past any sort of purple or blue variant, is going to be absolutely insane for PvP. Now, moving on, let's go over the exotic hand cannons. Now, third on our list, we have the First Curse. It automatically spawns with the unique perk Deadeye, bonus to range, stability, and movement speed when aiming down sights. Now, we have another unique perk called the First Curse. Precision kills while aiming down sights grant increased range and stability until the next reload. We'll have to see the magnitude of the stability increases, but other than that, I don't see this exotic hand cannon getting much use. Now, fourth on our list, we have the Ace of Spades. This weapon automatically spawns with the Third Eye perk, which is radar stays active while aiming down sights. That's a pretty amazing passive perk to have. And its unique perk is Maverick. Precision kills move 1 round from your ammo reserves to the magazine. Considering the magazine size of the Ace of Spades is 12, you could kill a lot of thralls with this weapon. While I'm sure this will see some play in PvE because having a massive magazine size essentially is a benefit there, I don't see this weapon being super popular. Now moving on to scout rifles, fifth on our list is the Tlaloc, or however the hell it's pronounced. This weapon passively spawns with the Grenadier perk, so kills with this weapon reduce the cooldown of your grenade. And it also has 2 more unique perks. Firstly, Eye of the Storm. This weapon becomes more accurate as your health gets lower. Now secondly, it has Overflow. This weapon has better handling, rate of fire, and stability while the wielder's super is charged. Now again, we've got to look at that Overflow perk. An increase to rate of fire and stability to compensate is insane. Again, that's going to increase this weapon's time to kill, and on the Crucible that is devastating. You might be thinking, well, yes, but you've got to keep up your super, so that is a downside, and you would be right, but just remember, what if you're playing a Sunsinger Warlock? You're basically keeping up your super constantly waiting for the opportune moment. This will be the perfect gun to utilize for that subclass. Now number 6 on our list is the PlayStation exclusive scout rifle, the Jade Rabbit. Now this weapon spawns with the unique passive perk, the Fate of All Fools. Now what this does is that you can chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. Now if the Fate of All Fools sounds familiar, it's because it was a data mined scout rifle in the game previously. It was supposed to be some sort of Trials of Osiris reward. That seems to have disappeared and turned into the Jade Rabbit. Now the performance of the Jade Rabbit all depends on its perk, the Fate of All Fools. We don't know how much bonus damage you'll get, and we don't know how many body shots you'll need to get a substantial amount of bonus damage. In the Crucible, body shots is definitely what you don't want to be doing. However, if you're able to go body head and guarantee a kill, this is something I can see getting used in PvP. In PvE, again, we have to see just how substantial the damage bonus is, but it'll have to be substantial enough that it's gonna beat out just getting headshots over and over and over again. Now number 7 on our list, the last scout rifle, is the Bullion Gemini. This weapon has 2 unique perks, one below the other, and players can choose which one they want to have unlocked. One is called One Way, bonus agility on precision kills, stacks up to 3 times. The other is called Or Another, bonus armor on non-precision kills, stacks up to 3 times. We're gonna have to see exactly how much agility or armor you can gain with this weapon, but definitely if it's substantial, this will see use for sure. Now 8th on our list, we have the sniper rifle Hereafter. It has a unique passive perk called the Hereafter. Crouching increases scope zoom and makes it easier to aim under fire. It has another unique perk called Blinding Light. Now what this does is that precision kills with this weapon have the chance to cause a bright flash that can blind nearby enemies. Now it has one more perk we haven't seen yet called Perfectionist. Magazine is refunded if all shots fired are precision kills, and the magazine size is 4. Now that actually sounds like the Black Hammer to me, so I am instantly interested in this gun for PvE. Definitely, again, being able to refund the magazine if you land all precision shots, even if that's drawing it from the reserve ammunition, that's still a very, very powerful effect to have for a PvE sniper rifle. Not only that, but again, it's going to be able to blind enemies nearby if you get precision kills. That is very good if you're being rushed by several enemies, like you're being charged by thralls. If you get a precision shot and blind all of them, you've essentially saved yourself from that potentially harmful scenario. but we'll really have to see how high the chance is to cause the blinding flash to determine whether this gun is really going to see a lot of play. Now with number 9, we're moving on to another weapon type, the swords. There is 3 new exotic swords in the game. Now let's start off with the Raze-Lighter. Now I have absolutely no idea how to assess these weapons, so I'm just going to read off the perks that sound cool. Firstly, it has Solar Forged Guard. Now what this does is used to guard, which seems to be like to block attacks, effective against arc and void attacks, less effective against solar attacks. So this will be a solar sword, and therefore more effective against the other 2 elements, it seems. It has Tempered Light, which is increased armor when wielding the sword. In the middle tier, you can choose between Scabbard, which increases the sword ammo capacity, or Thrive by the sword, which kills with this sword grants super energy. Next, we have what looks like a unique perk, the Phoenix Uppercut. Now what this is used to launch into a solar light uppercut, so it just seems like a unique attack unique to the Raze-Lighter. And lastly, we can choose between 2 different perks. Firstly, Scabbard, which again increases the sword ammo capacity, or Warrior of Light, increased damage for your attack. Now moving on to the next sword, number 10, we have the Dark Drinker. Firstly, we have the passive perk Void Forged Guard. So this is the Void Sword, and again it's more effective against arc and solar attacks, less effective against void attacks. We have Tempered Light again, so that you can have increased armor when wielding the sword. Now the first choice we can choose between Scabbard, which again increases sword ammo capacity, or Die by the sword, which kills with this weapon replenish grenade energy. Now the unique perk for the Dark Drinker is Supermassive Vortex, used to unleash a spiral of void energy in all directions. Again, this sounds like the unique attack for this sword. And lastly, you can choose between Scabbard again and Warrior of Light, increasing damage for your attack. Now number 11, the last sword we have is the Arc one called Boltcaster. The passive perk is Arc Forged Guard, again more effective against solar and void attacks, less effective against arc attacks. It also has Tempered Light, and then in the first choice you have Scabbard and Live by the sword, which grants the ability to have kills with this sword have a chance to grant orbs. Now the unique perk for this weapon is Sword of Thunder, used to shoot a beam of arc lightning from your sword, creating a lingering electrical storm. And lastly, you can choose between Scabbard and Warrior of Light, which increases the damage of your attack. Now let's move on to armor, and let's start with the Titan. Now first off, we have the exotic Titan helmet, the Taikonaut. Now this has the unique passive perk, Air Traffic Control. All rocket launchers gain tracking. I'm just gonna stop there. Yes please. But wait, there's more. Radar remains visible while zooming with heavy weapons. Oh my gosh, but there's more. And heavy ammo drops increase when using a rocket launcher. Yes, please. This is the Ruin Wings on steroids. I'm going to be using this helmet non-stop as soon as I get it. Now moving on, we have the exotic Titan chest armor, the Twilight Garrison. This has the unique perk Tactical Air Support. Now, what this does is that you can actually press a button while airborne to evade. And yes, that's all it says. Press blank while airborne to evade. This might actually kind of be like mini or pseudo blink for the Titan. Yes, please. Now, next up we have the exotic Titan gauntlets, the Immolation Fists. Now, the unique passive perk on the Immolation Fists is Accelerant. Unlocks the Sunbreaker subclass node Explosive Pyre for free. Now what Explosive Pyre does is that enemies felled by your hammer explode, chaining fiery solar damage to others. That seems pretty good. Anything that gives you essentially a free subclass perk is often utilized in some sort of build. Now, next up, we have the exotic Titan gauntlet, the Thagomizers. This has the unique passive perk 1-2 Punch. Fist of Havoc kills recharge your melee, and melee kills recharge your Fist of Havoc. In addition, you gain an additional melee charge. Now, gaining an extra melee charge or grenade is always useful and will always have implications. I'm not sure what those implications are for these gauntlets, but I'm sure it will see play. Next, we have the exotic Titan boots, the Dunemarchers. These have the exotic perk Speed Demon, increased sprint speed, extended slide distance, and you increase your movement speed while aiming your weapon. Oh, and there's tighter turn radius while sprinting. This actually sounds pretty insane, and honestly, extended slide distance is pretty amazing if you're kind of running a closer range shotgun build. So I guarantee these will see play in PvP. Now let's move on to the Warlock. First off, the exotic helmet, the Stag. It has the unique passive perk, Do or Die. Once per life, your super charges faster when your teammates are dead. Chance to respawn with an overshield. I'm really not sure how to assess this helmet. The Do or Die perk seems quite powerful. I just don't know exactly where it'll be good. I'm sure it'll find play somewhere. Now next up, we have the exotic Warlock helmet, the Astrocyte Verse. Now this has the unique passive perk Teleportation, reduces blink cooldown and increases travel distance. As someone who mains a Titan, I think I just vomited in my mouth a little bit. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, this'll see play. Now moving right the hell on, we have the Warlock Gauntlets, the Ophidian Aspect. Now these have the exotic perk Viper Totemic, improved siphon, and weapons ready and reload very quickly. Next we have the Warlock Gauntlets, the Impossible Machines. These have the exotic perk Lightning Rod, unlocks the Stormcaller subclass node Landfall for free. Now what that does is on casting Storm Trance, fire a bolt of lightning into the ground, creating a devastating shockwave under you. This essentially sounds like adding a Fist of Havoc to your Storm Trance for free. So yeah, it sounds pretty good. Now moving on to the Warlock exotic boots, the Transversive Steps. Now these have the exotic perk Strange Angles, gain faster movement speed while crouching. Picking up ammo automatically reloads the weapon that's matching the ammo's type. That seems not bad in PvE. Being able to basically constantly just keep instantly reloading your primary is definitely a powerful ability. Now last and least, I'm just kidding, last but not least, we have the Hunter. Let's start off with the Hunter exotic helmet, the Skyburner's Annex. The exotic perk is Versatile Shooter. Heavy weapon kills have a chance to create orbs. Orbs collected when your super is full have a chance to grant special ammo. This definitely seems like a very useful PvP perk. Sniper rifles and shotguns are both utilized extremely heavily in PvP, and yet special ammo can be very, very scarce. As such, being able to get potentially a lot more of it is definitely a useful perk. Next we have another helmet, the Graviton Forfeit. This has the exotic perk Elusive Shadow, which unlocks the Night Stalker subclass node Shade Step for free, and that's where you can gain an evade on pressing a button. Evade is definitely one of the most talked about perks in the Night Stalker, so I definitely see this seeing play for sure in PvE, and I'm not sure about PvP, but probably. Depends on how good Evade really is. Moving on to chest armor, we have the ATS-8 Tarantella. The exotic perk is called the Tarantella. Take reduced arc damage from minions of the darkness, arc grenades and arc blade recharge faster. That actually seems decently powerful. I'm definitely going to be running this if there's any sort of arc burn activity I'm doing. Now it actually has two more unique perks to choose from, Arc Burn Defense and Arc Armor. Arc Burn Defense reduces incoming Arc Burn damage. Again, great for Nightfalls and any sort of Arc Burn activity. And Arc Armor increases armor when using an Arc-based subclass. Obviously going to be very useful in PvP when running Blade Dancer. Next up, we have the exotic Gauntlets the Shinobu Bow. This has the exotic perk New Tricks, improved skip grenade, and you gain an additional skip grenade. 2 grenades is always good, this'll see play. And lastly, we have the exotic Hunter Boots, the Frosties, aka the FROST-EE5, or the Frosties. This has the exotic perk Rapid Cooldown, tighter turn radius while sprinting, increased grenade and melee regeneration while sprinting. Depending on the degree of the regeneration, this could definitely see play if it's high enough. Now lastly, there's actually exotic class items this time around. There's 3 different class items per class for the 3 different factions, Dead Orbit, New Monarchy, and Future War Cult. And every single one of them has the unique exotic perk that they can be used as an additional exotic slot. So you won't take up your exotic slot while using these exotic class items. You're going to be able to use one of these and, let's say, the Graviton Forfeit. Now for the Hunter, we have the Cloak of Oblivion for Dead Orbit, the Chaos Cloak for Future War Cult, and the Cloak of Rising for New Monarchy. For the Titan, we have the Mark of Oblivion for Dead Orbit, the Mark of Circle for Future War Cult, and the Mark of the Executor for New Monarchy. Lastly, for the Warlock, we have Light Beyond for Dead Orbit, Circle of War for Future War Cult, and the Age to Come for New Monarchy. Woo, that was a lot of exotics. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative. If you did, don't be afraid to rate, comment, and subscribe if you want to see Destiny content similar to this. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is on Twitter. That's going to be linked in the description of this video, as is my Twitch channel, which you can follow as well. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good day.